Yeah, okay. Good afternoon. So, so as a continuation of the previous class, so we are going to be, so far we have been hard coding our variables. We create the variable, then we set the values instantly. So there is actually a way to prompt the user to enter the value of a variable, for example. Okay, so we'll be taking a look at something called the scanner class. So ideally, scanner is often used for sending in pictures into a system, or you put in a when you put in a document into a scanner, then it gets scanned as a picture. So it gets scanned as a picture into the system. So the same way here, only that the scanner here is just used for sending in values into your system. So it's a way of prompting a user to enter a value. So that's what we'll be taking. That's the first one we'll be taking a look at. So let's create a new Java class. Let's call it product. So basically, inside this class, I want to actually prompt the user to enter three different integers, and then we would multiply those integers that are entered. So this gives us a lot of flexibility. It implies that we don't necessarily have to always hard code our variables. So to get started, so I would use this shortcut to create a main method. So made mention of using a scanner class. So I would just create an object of that scanner class. So later on, we'll be taking a deeper look at what an object actually means. So I'll be to create the object now. Just call the scanner class, which is provided by Java. Okay. The scanner. Let's say I call this input. Okay. Equals new scanner. Okay. So what I will just pass in here system.in. So basically, I'm saying you've been using system.out so far. So, but this time around, we want to use system.in to send in inputs to the system. Okay, so this is the first step. So here we are creating a scanner to send the input or let's say to receive input from the user. Okay. So this is just one step. So then the next thing is I would like to create the variables. So this I will just be creating the variables int a. I could just do this b c. Okay, so this is another way of creating three different variables. It's short for. So, but it's however good coding practice to separate all of this into different lines. So okay, so we have our three variables. Okay, so what we are trying to do now is that all of the values that will be entered by the user will be stored inside each of these variables. So the first value the user enters will be stored into the A variable. The second value that will be entered will be stored in the B variable, and then the third will be stored in the C variable. Okay, so then I want to create another variable for my results. So since after I multiply all of these guys, so the next thing I want to do is to save their results into another variable. So I'm creating this. Okay. So the first thing I would like to do here is I want to prompt the user to enter a value. So I'll just use my normal system.out print line. Let me say print line because I want this to be on different lines. Okay, enter uh enter the first integer. Okay, so next thing what I'm going to do is I want to now save whatever. So at this point I'm prompting the user to enter an integer. So once the user sees this message in the console, so the next thing is that the user would enter a value. So that value that will be entered, I want to save it into a variable. So the first one, A, equals, then I would make use of this scanner I've created here, this input here. Okay, I would call it input. Okay, dot, since I want an integer, I'll just use next int. Okay, so with this I've successfully saved the value that will be entered by the user into this variable a. So then I want to send out another message since I need three numbers. So let me just do this. Okay, enter the second integer b. uh so I'm prompting the user now for the second variable. So the value of this second variable here would now be saved into b, like I mentioned. So it will be input again dot next int, since I'm entering another integer. Okay, then I would need this guy again a third time. So I'll just say enter the third integer, and this I would say c equals input dot next int. Okay, so at this point, let us actually see how this guy works. So let's run this and then see how it would work. So before going further, so you can see that it sends me the message enter the first integer. Okay, so click anywhere here. So let's say I enter 45, enter. So it prompts me again, enter the second integer 50. Then the last one says enter the third integer, and then let's say 60. Okay, so it says process finished. So far that is all we've done. We've been able to collect input from the user. So now the next thing we would now want to do, since we are just creating the product, so this time I will just say save the result of the product. Now result equals a times b times c. Okay, so I could now say so let's say here the product of a then plus b plus c equals what's the result. So let's okay, I need to concatenate this here. So let's try this. So let me run this again afresh, and let's use, so enter the first integer 10, second integer 20, third integer 30. So I should get my result this way. So here you see this, it says the product of 10, 20, 30 is 6,000. So however, I still notice an issue with what I've done so far. So I need to separate this with space. So I could just come in here and then add the space, calculate space. So let me run this again and then see how my result comes out. 10, 20, 30. Okay, so you see the product of 10, 20, and 30 equals this. I hope you understand that. Okay, so some I could refactor this code further. It's also good practice to use clear or distinct variable names. For so ABC, someone who comes to read your code will not understand that. So if I use something like first num, okay, we could call this second num, we could call this third num. So it means I'll just change this here to first num, come over here, change this to second num, change this to third num, and yeah, I could just change this first num and second num and third num. So here I could just say first num, second num, But now, okay. So if I run this, just to be sure that everything works fine. So of course, I expect it to work fine anyway. 20, 30, 11. So it still gives me my results. So basically, this is how you make use of the scanner class. So kindly go through this. If there are any questions, feel free to drop me a message or to drop a yeah. Feel free to drop in the chat, and I would attend to the question. So after this, the next topic we'll be taking a look at is classes, methods, objects. So this will be our first introduction into object-oriented programming using Java. So I hope you enjoy this, and then so yeah.